I'm Kate.
And I'm Rachel.
And I'm Hannah.
And this is Feast.
Sheath.
And Shatter.
Is it hot in here or is it just me tuning in to hear these three chatting about fantasy novels of the spicy variety? Not your average book club, if you know what I mean. Are you happy to see us? Or is that a dagger? It's Feast, Sheath, Shatter. It's Feast, Sheath, Shatter.
Cue the music.
Cue the music. Okay, welcome back. We've been on a break.
Do you want to do our cold open?
Ho, 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 ho. Ho, 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 ho. You sing better than me. You do it.
Oh, no, that's all I got. That's the best I can do.
Ho, 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 ho.
Rachel literally cringed out of her headphones.
Yeah, she cringed out of the headphones and walked away from us.
She left us.
And she's not normally susceptible to cringe, but
I
I
was
think
turning fans off.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Oh,
It wasn't your singing, I
Oh, good.
promise.
oh, it would have been okay if
Thank
it
you
was.
for arranging that ahead of time, though. It was a nice surprise.
Cue the...
Ho, 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 ho. Some of this might gotta get cut. It's fine.
No, why?
So what does that mean though? Like, what book are we? What
does it mean
series
to
are we
you?
diving into? What series did we read in our early 20s, late teens that we are diving back into? Sorry, I haven't had my ADHD meds in a couple weeks.
Oh, man.
It's fine.
Twilight
Twilight.
by Stephanie Meyer. Still.
Yes. Twilight is a book about vampires. Peers.
Yeah, I would argue it's like one of the first
I think you'll find that it is.
supernatural vampire. I'm dating a vampire in high school books.
Yeah, I mean, I think it definitely made some cultural waves.
Yeah.
I think it introduced a lot of young women to fantastical longings.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because I was, after we've read all that we've read now
Yeah.
over the past 20 years,
Sorry.
this is nothing, but I'm trying to, as I'm rereading, I'm thinking, okay, what is it about this that was so awesome?
It was novel at the time.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah.
I hadn't read something that was for us, by us. No, for us, like young people that like fantasy and romance at that age. I think that it definitely, for younger kids, teenagers, young 20s, in that era of time, and we're talking about between 2000 and 2010,
Yeah.
there's a certain level of toxicity in this book that we could have really related to.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of things that happen in this book that at the time I was like, yeah, this is so normal. This is what love should look like.
Yeah.
Yes.
That when I look at it in 2024 with language and therapy, I'm like, oh no,
Yeah.
that's not it.
Yeah.
That
Yes.
ain't it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's really
Where
apparent
were her parents?
I mean, she was parentified.
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah.
like that stands out in a way. Like, y'all are moms. I'm a cool aunt.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, she is super parentified. And no wonder she ended up with the 100-year-old guy,
Yeah.
the
She's
100-year-old
the parent.
teenager.
Oh, Midnight Sun didn't come out till 2020.
Yeah, no, it's very recent.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, very recent.
Yeah, I didn't. I think I only read I didn't remember any of Midnight Sun. So I think that I only read that first chapter that she released
Way back.
way back.
So
I enjoyed it.
How old were we when this book came out? How
It was
old?
2005.
So-
So I was 20.
I was 20. No, I wasn't.
No,
How old was I?
I was 22. And I remember reading it and like crushing it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if all of the books were out when I read it. I
I
feel,
was 20
I feel
when I
like
did.
I had to wait for a book.
I had to wait for them.
When did the 4th book come out?
I don't know, but I have this memory of I was a nanny. I was in college at the time, and I was a nanny part-time. Like I had kids after school. And I remember sitting at the park, and I look across, and there's another mom sitting on the park bench also reading Twilight.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
Can I just tell you something really cool that just happened?
Yes.
I feel like I just made the cheerleading team. Okay, so you guys know how I've wanted to get a Lohavva tattoo for so long?
Yeah.
Yes.
Sorry, I just got this email and I've been waiting for it all day. I found a local artist that I'm obsessed with, and I have been like for like 6, well, not emailing her, but I follow her. I have her notifications on. I've been waiting for her books to open for about 6 months now.
Yeah.
And her books opened yesterday at 10 a.m. I was straight up like Ticketmaster waiting for her books to open.
Oh my
I was sitting there with
God.
all my reference photos, everything I wanted. Like it all worked out in my mind. Like, please do mine. I guess she got like 100 different offers and she couldn't submissions, and she's not taking all of them. And so she posted online today like, hey, I had to turn a lot of them down, and
Man.
she just accepted mine.
Yay!
And I just feel so happy.
That's amazing.
I know. I'm so excited. And she's so good. And she's going to do Lohavva so well. And I feel like a winner in this moment.
Oh, man. Do
I
you
just
know when
feel
your
like-
appointment's going to be
No,
yet?
I don't. I don't.
Will it be like this summer or?
It'll be not until September.
Okay.
Yeah. I think she said that this round she's going to be booked out till March. But yeah, so I was like, oh my God, if I get rejected, if my Lohavva tattoo gets rejected, I'm going to be so sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, thank you for allowing me to have this happiness and for sharing it with me.
I am
Yeah.
so happy.
Thanks. Okay. Well, Twilight.
Yeah. Twilight's published 05.
Okay.
Eclipse or New Moon is 06. Eclipse is 07. Breaking Dawn is 08.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that I picked these up somewhere in there. I'm not sure I picked it up after the first one, but I think I did have to wait for these to come out.
Yeah. So you were pre-movies.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I remember, but I wasn't like obsessive back in the day. I don't think I had I was my only friend that was a reader.
Yeah.
So I was always like late to some of the fantasy stuff, but the first person I know that picked some of these books up. And I didn't like reach out to communities. It's not like TikTok today where you can just
it wasn't available.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there might have been like Tumblr, maybe MySpace.
Maybe.
Facebook did exist. I got Facebook, I think, in 2006, like in college.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just didn't have like an obsessive piece of it. But when I think about it, these aren't books that I would like super fangirl over.
Yeah.
You
There's
wanna-
I don't know. I was going to say there's no book boyfriend, but we're supposed to think Edward is our book boyfriend.
Yeah, I don't find Edward attractive.
No.
I think that if we had learned about Emmett, so Hannah got us.
This is the skin of a killer, Bella.
I think that it was really accessible, really easy reading, and a really novel story.
And vampire books weren't out at the time. Like there were no
Did
good.
Buffy exist?
Yeah, Buffy existed, but you didn't get good vampire, like young adult vampire books.
Right.
No.
That where the vampire was not like the bad guy or
Like a blood-sucking
like a
asshole.
Dracula.
Like
Yeah.
a villain.
right. And so when
like
I
a
found this, I
morally
was
gray
like,
villain. And
holy
Edward is
shit.
good.
like
Yeah.
a vampire novel. Yes. And so I read it all the way through and I was like, this was so good. And then I flipped over and I read it again and I was like, I don't think I like Edward. And
Yeah.
then it was really hard to read it after that because I was like, oh, he was not
Did
nice.
you
He was
have-
not nice.
Did you have the language at 20 to explain why you didn't like him?
I think I just didn't like how he treated Bella. Like
So
I thought
you
if I had
knew-
been
she
Bella,
knew
I would
then.
have been like,
Typical.
She knew then.
Oh my
That is
God.
why she found her fate.
I was today years old when I
learned
figured
that
out
this
that
was
I did
toxic.
not like Edward.
Yeah, I was a
it's because
40-year-old
he
woman.
laughs at her all the time. He is either pissed or laughing. The entire book.
You know what didn't make Edward better for me? Edward's perspective. And I think that we're all going to have a little bit of a disagreement. I could not stand that book. And I
Yeah.
know Hannah really enjoyed it.
Well,
I
we'll
know
do
that
Twilight
Yeah,
first.
sure,
yeah,
sure.
no, but we also read Midnight Suncoat. Spoiler alert, because there's no song to sing for that one.
I mean, it's funny because as we've been reading these and like texting back and forth, of course, TikTok picked up on it and has started sending me all of the Twilight.
Yeah.
And like hoa hoa weather is a thing.
Hoa hoa weather.
Yeah, it's the hoa hoa weather. So sweater weather or hoa hoa weather. So that's where that.
That's where.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't hear that song and not think of Twilight.
No.
And like a rainy day with
I
pops
saw that
of
movie
red.
in the theaters. Like I went because I knew it
You
was
went
coming
on
out.
Thursday, like open.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
midnight.
Yeah. How old?
With all
when
my
were the movies
friends.
pop off? Pop off.
I think
Jeez
08.
Louise. 08. That computes.
Maybe that sounds about right.
Was the fourth book out when the first movie
Yes.
came out.
Yeah.
So the series was complete. When did Potter start?
Yeah. Twilight comes out November 1st, 2008. Breaking Dawn came out August of that year. So it had just come out.
Okay, so the movie came out first.
No, the Breaking Dawn came out in August and the movie came out in November.
Oh, it was a Christmas movie.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Okay. Wow.
And Harry Potter, the first Harry Potter movie came out when?
I do
Sorry.
remember
That's
it.
okay.
They were kind of lumped together.
Because I just feel like it was the age of
Like young
they're
adult
making
books.
awesome movies out of my
2001.
books.
2001.
Is
Okay.
Harry
Okay.
Potter.
The first
So
Harry Potter
you're already
movie.
in the zone of
Yeah.
we're reading this book and then we're going to the theater to see it.
And movies are making money.
Mm-hmm.
What other movies did they did? Divergent, Hunger Games,
Lord of the
Yeah.
Rings.
Lord of the Rings,
The Maze Runner.
The Maze. Yeah, I never watched
Man,
that
I
one.
didn't either.
Yeah, but
That was, like,
that's
the last
definitely
one.
in there.
That was the,
Percy
like-
Jackson was probably in there somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. But I do remember reading these books and feeling like, oh, I love these so much as other people reading them. But
Yeah.
I never really had a community to talk about books with. So I didn't go like obsessive about books at that point.
Yeah.
I don't think I got obsessed with like a series until dun dun dun.
Ekator.
No, Game of Thrones.
Oh, Game of Thrones. I hated those
Fuck
books.
you, Game of Thrones.
I hated those
Ekator.
books.
Ekator.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then anyways, so where do you want to start, Rach? I mean, let's just say Rach is the authority on vampires.
Yes.
Vampires
Yeah.
are her thing.
Yeah.
She loves them.
I will say the lingering thing from Twilight that always I hate is the real vampires don't sparkle. Like that joke has shown up in every single vampire movie since 2008, and we're all finished and we can stop joking about it now.
Yeah, I mean,
like
it
they're not
is-
over it.
Like, can y'all be over it, please?
We're over it.
Simultaneously, she did make them shimmer in the sun.
Yes. Yeah.
Like they had to be depressed emo kids because they're let me just say, I did go on a rant in my brain about the fact that if you were a supernatural creature who sparkled in the sun,
yeah.
I feel like you would be less likely. I'm not sure that aligns with the mystery and the current, like social, like the way our society
Yeah.
views a vampire. Does that make
Right.
sense?
Yeah.
Like I feel like if you were in a universe where you were a sparkly creature, you would not be seen as terrifying.
Right.
You might be seen as godlike.
And
they
you
only-
definitely wouldn't be seen at high school.
No. No.
Yeah.
That did not.
So we
Yeah.
had to suspend some
Yeah,
beliefs
sure.
there.
First on the list of things that didn't age well was we have to start young so we can stay longer. Like, okay, well, you could have just said you were homeschooled. You could have just said you were homeschooled.
Yeah, but back in that day, if you got lumped in the homeschool category,
they don't go out anyway. None of them leave the house.
They're already
why couldn't they
ostracized.
just be like 19
yeah.
and they
Just
just
graduated.
They look
age
19.
well.
And
Yeah.
they
Like,
don't-
did Botox exist back
They
then?
don't do anything in the town. They don't go in the town.
like they're-
It's not like they're at the diner. It's not like they're grocery shopping. It's not like anybody's checking in on them. They could be whatever the fuck age they wanted. They live like out in the country.
Yeah.
How often do you wonder
in
about
a
the people
stunning
in the
architectural
countries. Yeah.
home,
which Esme
Modern.
designed?
It's stunning.
Yeah.
Do you know what took me way too long to realize?
What?
And they probably said it in the book, and it didn't dawn on me till recently.
It didn't new dawn on you?
It didn't new dawn on me. Yeah, that Renesmee is Renee and Esme together.
They say that in the book.
I did not read that part. It didn't
in the movies.
register. It doesn't register. It
Yeah.
didn't register in my brain.
Instagram started showing me this one creator who does nothing but answer people's questions about Twilight, and she calls Renesmee Ragnarok. And she's like, someone was like, "Why are you saying that?" And she's like, "Listen." She's like, "I don't think Stephanie wanted us to like Renesmee." She's
Yeah.
like, "That's why I call her Ragnarok."
Because she was like the downfall.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like a Ragnarok. Yeah.
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 That's crazy.
Well, I mean, if we're going to do all the books, we'll get there, but
Right. Anyways, I just, or maybe or BOD, give me the benefit of the doubt. I just completely forgot.
yeah,
and it
that's
like
fine.
re-registered.
They mention it like once.
It
And
re-registered in my
and
brain.
I'm-
I was like, Renee.
and I'm almost
Esme. Renesmee.
and I'm almost positive her middle name is a combination of Charlie and Carlisle.
Yeah.
Charlisle.
I really
Yeah,
think her
it's
middle name is like
bad.
Charlisle.
It's really bad.
or Carly.
like
No, it's not even good like that.
It's Charlisle.
It's Charlisle.
Renesmee Charlisle.
like all respect to Stephanie Meyer, but every once in a while you're like, oh,
Okay,
Stephanie.
so
man.
the Mormonism
Yeah.
is just rampant in this. And when I was 24, early 20s, it did not dawn on me how unhealthy it was to get married right after you graduate. We are way too far down the road. Let's focus.
Yeah.
Pull it back. I'm so sorry.
It's
I'm so
because we
sorry.
have foreknowledge. It's cause,
Yeah, it's 'cause
but
we know.
I was not expecting reading Twilight this time through to hate Renee as much as I did.
And
Yes.
it's, as moms,
it hit
I can
me
imagine.
like I can remember just not thinking about her
Yeah,
the first time
same.
I read through it. I was like, oh, okay, so she's leaving because her mom is flighty.
Well,
Okay.
I mean, so what stood out to me the most about this book is like the pick-me-ish
Yeah.
stuff.
Oh,
The
yes.
it was so like the misogyny, right? Bella is not like other girls.
Yeah.
All the other girls are catty assholes.
Yeah.
Constantly talking shit, being like really mean to each other, like behind each other's
Bella's
backs.
so cool. She's nothing
Oh my
like the
God,
other girls.
Bella's like, she's just so old. She's such an old soul. Hell yeah, she's parentified as fuck.
Yeah.
She's been parenting her mom. The scene where her mom is like, Bella, answer my email. I don't know where my sweater is. Where's
Yeah.
my sweater?
Yeah.
And she's like,
No.
Mom, it's literally hanging on the door.
No, it's at the dry cleaners. You were supposed to go pick it up.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
So this read through, you were just like
I
super
was like, no,
irked by
what the fuck? Like,
Yeah.
especially when she's like, I had to come because she married a guy and she was just sad staying with me because I'm just holding her
So
back.
I am my mother's
cannot
burden.
Yeah.
And so for my
imagine.
mom to live her life, I'm going to hoa weather, Seattle, Washington,
Yeah.
wherever.
Yeah, and I think I sent
Yeah.
to you guys like she has the illustrated guide where she gives backstory. And the reason that Renee didn't stay with Charlie is because Charlie wouldn't leave Forks, but he wouldn't leave Forks because his parents were dying.
Right.
Oh,
And-
God.
And she was like, I want to go. Like, I don't like clouds. And he was like, my parents are dying. And she was like, cool. And so one day he went to work and came back and she just taken Bella and left.
So let me
So
give.
she's a bad person.
No, she is too much fire and air.
Ooh.
Nothing to ground her. No grounding.
Yeah.
She's probably all air, all fire, all just impulsive flightiness, right?
Yeah,
Nothing
yeah.
to ground her. Meanwhile, Charlie's probably something like earth,
For sure.
responsible, like feels the burdens of everyone else, has this hero thing, you know? Yeah, that really sucks because they probably did love each other. She was just a child.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a child. And then
A child.
Charlie
And
only
children
saw.
in the Mormon church have babies all the time.
Sure.
They start
Yeah.
having babies really, really young.
Well, then Charlie only saw her for a month out of the year until she came to live with him.
Yeah.
So his only daughter got taken away, and then he only saw her. And knowing that she's with a woman who is not taking care of her, Bella's taking care
The
of
whole
her
thing
mother.
just did not sit well.
I
with
just
me
Well,
at
I
all.
couldn't move past it this time. I was just
Well-
like, oh, God.
Well, and then they started so young, he wouldn't have known any better until he was older.
Right.
As a young guy, you're not going to, like, a 20 and a 19-year-old aren't going to know better,
yeah.
you know? So, I mean, they might now, but there's a lot of different resources. We have the
Yeah.
internet
Oh, yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Like, that's not dial-up.
I love her modem. I
Oh
love
my gosh.
all
How
the
long
dated
it
stuff
took.
was so
No cell
Nostalgia.
phones. No cell phones.
none.
I mean, like, no cell phones, right?
yeah.
Like, it was
None.
still the time where you could,
Well-
your parents didn't expect to see you or talk to you until you got home.
Yeah.
It was actually really great.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie. You could tell
sure.
your parents you were going somewhere, and there was no way for them to
To
not
check
know
up
where
on
you are.
Yeah.
I asked my mom that kind of recently, like, how did you
You didn't.
survive not knowing when we were coming home? Like, how did you?
You just didn't have an option. You let your kids have freedom.
Yeah.
She was like, it was awful. It was terrible because she had horrible anxiety.
Yeah.
So it was like,
My mom was like, "See you later," and then I'd come home. Have you been drinking creme de menthe? No, I've been chugging Smirnoff Ice and 40s all night, and it's just gum. Chill, creme de menthe. Chill. Yeah. No, I haven't. I don't drink creme de menthe, Mom.
no one
drink-
does.
Cheap ass beer. I duct taped 40s to my hands, Mom. Leave me alone. Jeez.
Oh, that might be
I'm
irresponsible.
16. Leave me alone. I do what I want.
Do what I want here.
Yeah. So yeah, that was really funny. I was like, oh, this feels like vintage.
Yeah.
It's a vintage
And it
story.
feels like you're right. She's very pick me. And I wonder, is she one of the first pick me girls? Like if you look at contemporary fiction,
maybe
because I don't remember it standing out at all. I remember thinking, oh, she's so cool.
Yeah.
She reads
Yeah.
Jane Austen and she's
she's so
whatever.
different than other
Yeah.
girls.
already read Shakespeare.
God,
and-
most women are so stupid and gross and just dumb. Look how catty and dumb they are.
Yeah.
But Bella is so responsible and just like chill. No, she's a people pleasing pick me. And it's not that Bella is a pick me. She doesn't want to be chosen.
yeah.
She just isn't like, she's just healthy.
Yeah.
She's just
Yeah.
she's just like girl.
Stephanie Meyer
Right.
is a pick me.
Yes. The
Yeah.
author is the pick me.
She's the one that put that on Bella. Bella herself is not that person.
Yeah. Bella's not like putting other women down. She's literally just like a well-adjusted, parentified people pleaser that wants
Yeah.
everyone around her to feel comfortable. And so it's the girls around her. It's making the girls around her so catty and petty and whatever
Yeah.
that makes Bella stand out. And yeah, I thought I was like, okay, well, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, my girlfriends weren't, my friends in high school weren't like that, but whatever.
Yeah.
Don't remember high school.
Oh, that's
It
called
was so long ago.
trauma.
Oh, so long ago.
Trauma. Yeah.
Well, the Ragnarok creator also has a thing about how Stephanie hates blondes
Wow,
because
okay.
all of the women who are catty and mean to Bella are blonde. Like
Okay.
Rosalie
That
is
is
the
so
blonde.
true.
I mean, and
Lauren is
Lauren.
blonde.
and to be fair, there's definitely this like, the Bambi blonde bimbo girl
Stereotype.
Yeah.
is the villain now, right?
Yeah.
Like we have pendulum
The
swap.
mean girl.
The mean girl. The guy is always blonde. I mean, like
Regina
Tamlin.
George.
Yeah, Regina George.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's fair. I think the blondes got uplifted too long.
For sure.
You know, I mean, blondes now are even like there's even a trend now where platinum blonde is no longer the thing. Like everybody is trying to be more brown, like softer, lived in
Yeah.
blonde.
Interesting.
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely a stray away from being the blonde.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I let my highlights grow out.
Yeah. I can't. This is just who I am. Yeah. I am a natural blonde. So.
And then Edward laughs at Bella all the time.
Yeah.
And I was kind of surprised that she was okay with it.
Yeah, she's like, oh, I mean, I know I'm ridiculous. God,
Yeah,
God. And she's
you're
like,
right.
she's
I'm just
borderline
silly.
disabled. She can't even walk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like her, she's so clumsy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She
She's got
cannot walk.
ADHD. She got desk blisters.
Yeah.
Oh,
Y'all, I got blisters from a Zoom meeting. I don't know how it happened. I was in a meeting for like 9 hours on the computer, and then when I got down, my elbows hurt, and I had blisters on my elbows.
She literally has like blood
Raw
spots on her
my
elbows.
Yeah. I don't know how.
That is
So
some
weird.
new world problems.
I don't understand it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the Zoom issues. I got my Zoom sores.
Yeah.
My Zoom wounds.
Zoom wounds.
Zoom wounds. But yeah, I thought that Edward was very, I just don't care for him.
Yeah. And then the descriptions of how they're like, after she finds out or tells him that she knows he's a vampire, and then they actually start touching each other, the way that they touch is really weird. Like he's constantly running his lips just along her jaw, like from her ear down to the bottom of her jaw. And he's taller than her, which means he's like always leaning over and like licking her cheek. Like, I don't understand what's happening. I was like, why? He won't kiss her for like forever. And then every time he does, she like stops breathing, like loses her mind.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I was just like, why
Imagine-
did I enjoy this the first time I read this?
You know, they say that the things that you're the most obsessed over, like if you feel obsession in a relationship, it's because you are not getting something you need. And that healthy relationships can feel very deep, but you don't feel obsessive
Yeah.
because your needs are being met. And he is incredibly withholding.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
as a young hormonal woman who is madly in love with somebody, to not be able to get it in would kill me. It would be terrible. It would be painful. And that's literally what they're experiencing. And his, like, I totally get it. And are we allowed to talk about Midnight Sun or not?
I mean, if we can throw some stuff
I
in.
would like to,
I mean,
because
he
I feel like
literally-
we did read it together.
Yeah.
Right? Like
Yeah,
a
go for it.
tandem.
Yeah, so I think it was, and I think you mentioned this in the group chat, but it was, he wanted to eat her.
Yeah.
And I don't think that you realize that he literally had to, I think I thought like, oh, he's just attracted to her. But Midnight Sun made it so clear that
Like his pain.
she was like food.
Yeah.
And he was in excruciating pain. Like his throat would burn.
Like, and they make it seem like a drug in Twilight, because don't they say in Twilight she's his perfect heroine?
Yeah.
But in his book, you're like, oh, but it's like food.
Yeah.
It's like sustenance. It's like starving.
Yeah.
It's not just like drugs. It's like that is what your vampiric body wants to live on.
Yeah.
It's almost like survival, right? So I don't know. I just thought it was definitely a shift. And I was like,
Yeah.
I know this is supposed to make him seem better. I don't know. It didn't make me like him more.
No.
Here's what I liked about it. We got some different information.
Yeah.
So we got some cool insight, like how he can barely hear Charlie's thoughts. Like it was fun to kind of see just some different information.
Yeah, I think that's pretty interesting too. Because did they ever really give an explanation for why she is, why he can't hear her thoughts?
Well,
Yeah.
I think it's just because
They do in Breaking Dawn.
Yeah.
It's a special set of skills, right?
Yeah, it's her special skill. Like
Yeah,
he
but-
can read minds.
But why?
Because she's a shield.
Yeah, but why as a human was she that?
Because she's just
Why
that
was
strong of a
Alice
shield.
Why was Alice having visions as a human?
She had them as a human?
Yeah.
Oh, so humans can be supernatural?
Yeah.
And if they turn into vampires?
It just
Then it's
amplifies.
magnified.
Yeah.
So like Carlisle
I don't think I
says,
picked up on that.
It's at the very end after you go through 85% of nothing and then like 10% of plot and 5% of wrap up. And somehow the character that they meet at the baseball game, who's the tracker, is the one who killed the vampire that made Alice into a vampire. And he was actually trying to kill Alice, and to save Alice from him, the vampire turned her into a vampire.
Mhm.
And he just calls him an old one. And then he killed that guy. And so that's why Alice woke up alone.
that's why Alice has no memory of her former life.
Because she was in an asylum.
Yeah, I'll have to listen to what you said when the podcast comes out. Sorry, I'll put my phone away. I got distracted. I was like, oh, damn, I missed what they just said. I really wish I knew what they just said. It sounded really interesting.
The stupid coincidence that the tracker at the very end is the guy that knows where Alice came from.
Yeah, like,
And he records himself talking about it.
Okay.
So then when they play back the videotape, it's him gloating about it.
and none of that is in the movie. They
They
skip over that,
just too
and
much.
rightfully so, because
Yeah,
it
you're
was just
like, what? Oh,
meh.
nah.
nah.
I always
no,
hate the ending.
we don't need that.
I hated the ending the first time I read it. I hated it when I read it the second time. I hated it when I read it this time. I skipped it in Midnight Sun because I was like, I hated it from Bella's point of view. I fucking know
it
I'm
was
gonna hate
totally
it from his.
different from his, because you're going through the logistics of how to
Yeah.
set everything up, how to set up the scene where she falls down. I mean, good God, you're going to fall down 2 flights of stairs and through a window.
I love how ridiculous that is.
It is silly.
To explain her thing, like it could have been a car accident. They could have just said it was a car accident. And they're like, no, you were going down some stairs and you fell down 2 flights. Like you fell down, you hit the landing, you turned, you fell down the second flight, and then you fell out a window.
How much time would it take? Like, you know what I mean? Like if you
Yeah.
were falling downstairs, like you just kept falling.
And then
To
Alice
like fall down 2 flights, that's, yeah.
Yeah.
Then Alice has to go back, check into that hotel, act like she's staying there with her dad and her brother, like totally fuck everything up to make it look like someone just fell down 2 flights of stairs or through a window.
Yeah.
She gets blood from the blood bank at the hospital. She steals blood from the blood bank and it's Bella's type. It's her ode, whatever she is.
Yeah.
And sprays her blood all over the scene.
Are Bella and Edward fated mates?
God, I
Yeah.
hope not. I mean,
Is that why they smell so good together?
Yeah.
yeah. Now,
Not-
probably that's the language we would use.
And not like fated mates like Matt and Rachel. Like, I don't want to group them
No,
together.
no one.
I hate classifying them as that because of what Bella goes through in Eclipse.
Yeah.
Is it Eclipse where he's like
New Moon.
he's like, never mind, we're not good for each other, and he just leaves. And
Yeah,
he
that's
takes,
the second book.
he takes all of his pictures, he takes all of his stuff.
It is the worst. And that is why, ladies and gentlemen, I am Team Jacob all the way till I
It's
die.
because I wasn't then because I didn't realize that is an incredibly horrible, abusive way to treat someone that you love.
Gaslighting.
Yeah.
The gaslighting. Oh my God. That is a word that we did not have
Yeah.
in that time. When you were reading Midnight Sun, when you were going through these books now, it's like, holy shit, you gaslight everything she says.
Yeah.
When she says to you, I fucking saw you. Save me from that van.
I was standing right next to you.
I was standing. Yeah, you.
I was standing right next to you, Bella. You silly
and if
little
he-
human.
If he really, yeah,
You really bonked your head really
yeah, you
good.
psycho, you psycho. You know, like if this was written today, that would have looked like, you know, he was so called to her he couldn't lie. He couldn't allow that to happen. Right? You'd think as 100-year-old being, you wouldn't act like a 17-year-old piece of shit. Yeah, piece of shit's so hard. You wouldn't act like a 17-year-old boy.
Yeah.
But I just, you know, gaslighting her, making her feel, I mean, I guess the loss, weighing the stakes of what they could lose.
Stakes, which you do get a lot more of that in Midnight Sun too. I feel like because you hear a lot more from Rosalie,
Right.
from Edward's side.
Yeah.
In Midnight Sun.
And she is pissed. She wants to go to high school, by God, and she doesn't want anything to come between her and that high school.
Yeah, because high school is such a good time.
It's so fun.
For some people, it was peak. I'm guessing that was Stephanie Peak
Yeah.
prior to this.
Maybe she was. I don't know.
It's kind of what it feels like. Like, I wish I had been this girl in high school.
High school was terrible.
Awful.
Yeah. I went the extra step and read Life and Death.
You already read it?
The one with the boy where it's swapped.
The gender swap.
Yeah.
You already read it?
Were we not?
I have no idea what this is.
Yeah, we talked about there's a third book.
There's a third version of
Yeah,
Twilight.
and
then-
it is gender swapped.
And instead of it being
so-
Bella, it's Beaufort. And instead of Edward, it's Edith.
Yeah. So they're gender swapped. Yeah.
They're gender swapped.
Who wrote this?
Stephanie Meyer.
Myers.
What?
Yeah,
Yes.
it came out recently.
No, 2015. It came out before Midnight Sun.
What?
Yeah, it was the 10th anniversary thing that she did. Because she has a whole thing in the beginning that's like, sorry, y'all, I know you're looking for Midnight Sun, but like, I'm not ready to write it yet. So I went ahead and wrote like this version where I swapped them. And she swaps every single character except Renee and Charlie. Renee and Charlie are the same. And she's like, because I don't believe that a man would have gotten custody of his daughter
Okay.
at the time when Charlie would have gotten custody of Bella.
What?
Yeah, I get that.
She's like, I don't think I could reasonably swap them because I don't
Who
think
does he not swap?
she
Charlie
leaves
and
Charlie,
Renee.
Charlie, and Renee.
Oh.
So
everyone else
Beaufort-
has switched genders.
Yeah, so Beau is living with Renee, and then he goes to live with Charlie in Forks,
Okay.
and then falls in love with Edith, the girl vampire.
Is it Carlisle and Renee are mixed, or as
And
Meyer mixed up?
I kind of think we should read it for the pod because if it's an interesting window into how Stephanie Meyer thinks differently about what a man would look like in a relationship and like what a more powerful female would look like in a relationship.
Yeah, I think that sounds great, and I will read that.
Because immediately, like, he wants to carry her stuff and open doors for her. And she's like, I guess, okay, fine. Like, she's Edward level powerful. She can read minds just like,
But she's going to let this stupid little human
this 17-year-old boy
open her door.
She submits. She's a
Yeah.
sub.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Immediate-
It's just
it's-
like Dom sub energy.
Yeah. And he knows, like, Bella in Twilight, all these boys are like fawning over her. And she's like, I don't know why they're paying me so much attention. I guess it's just because I'm new. And Beaufort's like, well, I didn't think I was that hot, but I guess I'm hotter than everybody else here.
Now, that is
Yeah.
true.
And she doesn't even have that thought.
No.
No, because women are never allowed to recognize their attractive level. Because
Right.
if a woman recognizes how attractive she is, she's stuck up and
Yeah.
not lacks humility. I almost sent you a thing about that too, because Hannah and I talk a lot about like when Taylor Swift won her last Grammy and she got up on stage and she just like confidently accepted it. And I think you and I were both like,
No, you were like, I wish that she would have been more grateful,
like
or
a humble.
and I was like, would you say that if she was a man?
Yeah. Yeah. But you said you were feeling it too. You thought through it too.
Okay.
You said that. You arguing? Are we fighting?
Well, you know, your first thought is your training and your second thought is like what you've taught yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. And women we're raised from infants.
Yeah. There's a TikTok right now where this girl made this TikTok. She's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Whatever society thinks beauty is, that's what she looks like. And she goes, yeah, guys will cheat on anybody. I've been cheated on. And she got eaten up in the comments. And then there's all these
For
other
saying that she's beautiful.
because
yeah.
for acknowledging that
Yeah.
she is an attractive woman and seeing herself as a beautiful woman. And like it was just like appalling. How dare you? How dare you? And then there's all these other creators who are commenting and like, why do you think that? Why is it not okay? Why is it not okay to acknowledge that you are seen as a beautiful woman, that you feel beautiful, that you are beautiful?
Yeah.
Why do we hate beautiful women that know they're beautiful? You know?
And also, she was saying, like, society has been telling me that I'm beautiful my whole life.
Right.
People tell me that all the time. Like, that's the best thing about me.
Yeah.
So you're surprised now that I say I'm beautiful when it's been shoved down my throat my whole life.
Yeah, that's what you're good for.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And I think for me, who has never felt like a traditionally beautiful person, I'm like, yeah, okay, I see you, beautiful woman. Like, I understand that.
Yeah.
I've never thought of it that way.
Yeah.
Because I love it when I see someone who isn't traditionally beautiful, who thinks they're beautiful. But it's also okay to be beautiful and think you're beautiful.
Right.
Those are the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways. I think that that just goes along with that mentality of like, oh, Bella doesn't realize it, but the boy does. The boy's totally okay with it.
Yeah.
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 Great.
And like when they go dress shopping because she has to have the scene where they go to Port Angeles.
Yeah.
And of course, he's not going to get chased by rapists.
Right.
This random rapist.
So what happens to him?
He's just going to see a movie with the guys because they don't need to buy dresses or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So whatever, they're going to go see a movie. And then like somebody thinks he's a cop and they're going to shoot him.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, because he like sees some people in an alley and he's like, oh, okay. And he keeps walking and they're like, hey, pig, come back. And he's like, what?
I'm 17.
Yeah.
I'm literally 17.
He's really tall though. He's like, but I could never play basketball because I'm too klutzy. But he's not as klutzy
Oh,
as
see,
Bella.
he's okay.
Like, how tall is he?
I don't know. It doesn't really say.
But like, how tall?
I don't know.
Like 6'7"?
Not
No.
6'7".
6'5"?
Tall enough that he in high school should play basketball, but can't because he's too clumsy.
6'5".
6. Okay.
6 isn't tall.
Sure.
6 is standard.
And he still cooks for Charlie.
He still cooks.
He still cooks because he does everything
that's-
that he did for Renee.
Okay. So he's still the
everything Bella
parent.
did
He's still
for
parent.
Renee. He did for Renee.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
That is
Interesting.
so interesting. We have
Yeah.
to read it.
Yeah.
How long is it?
It's the same length.
Golly,
It's
so we
not
got to
as
go
long
through
as
all this
Midnight
again.
Sun. And you know, I found the audiobook and I just cranked it up because I know nothing's going to happen until it all happens.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
It's
Got the
70%.
audiobook and cranked it up.
As we know now, Rach listens to audiobooks like
Like
this.
3%. At like point. At,
2.75.
2.7, yeah.
That's
yo, I've been struggling. I'm not gonna bullshit. I'm raw dogging this podcast. I did not finish either one of those books.
It's fine.
You read them before. It's
I've read them
fine.
You know.
before.
You know
so
what
I-
it's about.
I
Yeah.
skipped the end of Midnight Sun. I just read the epilogue at the end because I hate the baseball scene. And we got to the baseball scene and the baseball scene was somehow 10 fucking times longer. It was like, and then Alice ran to first base and then Edward caught the ball and then Edward threw the ball to Alice and then Alice threw it to Emmett and then Emmett threw it to Carlisle and then
Yeah.
they got Jasper out and then it was Jasper's turn. So Jasper pitched and then Jasper pitched to Alice and I was like, what the fuck? I did not need, what is this?
No
Who's
one
on first? I
cares.
was like, no one cares.
Who's on first?
No one cares,
So,
Stephanie. I didn't
yeah.
care the first time around. I definitely didn't care now.
And I didn't care in the movie.
No.
All I like is the way Alice pitches.
Yeah, that's the best part.
Is Alice pitching.
Alice pitching.
Yeah, the best part about the movie is still the Lorcan run
Oh, where they're running through the.
on the treadmill.
On the airport,
literally, that's
on the
my-
airport sidewalk.
Yeah, that's my
Yes.
favorite part. I actually would love to and might every time I go through an airport from now on
Pretend.
and
Yeah.
play the music.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like you know what I'm talking about? The baseball
I-
music.
Yeah.
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 Can you imagine just running through the airport on the little mover things?
I want to go ahead
Conveyor
and
belts.
say,
What are they called?
Yeah, a
Moving
moving
sidewalk.
sidewalk.
Flat escalators. Moving.
Kate, quit kicking the. I can hear
Oh,
you.
can you
tapping
hear it?
Yeah, it's like a drum.
I'm just calling some worms. No big deal.
Worm growling.
Just calling the worms.
Yeah. All right. Do we want to call the like Twilight, little bit of Midnight Sun here, and then go straight to like all Midnight Sun?
I
Or we
Yeah,
can
what
just-
do you
I don't
want to talk
know.
about?
Or we can just keep going, and then I'll just cut it, and then I'll cut it into 2 parts.
Oh, we're doing 2 pods.
Oh, I didn't know
I
that.
didn't know.
because we read 2 books.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
I just feel bad because I wouldn't have said as much as I did
of us
before.
read 2 books. Yeah. No, it's fine. No, I think it's good.
okay, yeah.
I've had Bridgerton to watch.
That's fine.
No, and you know what? and it says a lot about something that I'm noticing about my brain. I cannot read something I don't like.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like my brain cannot do what yours does.
Yeah.
I can't.
These were hard. It was hard to
cannot-
get through it again.
And I'm listening to them. I mean, I listened to Hannah's Midnight Sun. I hated Edward's rumination. Okay,
Oh, you could not let
bye.
it go.
See ya. We're gonna talk about Midnight Sun now.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Is it hot in here or is it just me? Tuning in to hear these 3 chatting about fantasy novels of the spicy variety. Not your if you know what